Hello everybody, this is going to be my first attempt to do a behind the scenes model shoot. And what I'm going to do is use my wife as a model, and I hope it works out. Okay, what I'm going to do is show you how I film with a model. And I'm going to use myself and my wife, who has graciously um, allowed to be a model in this case. And so the concept I thought of was that there would be a widow who's alone for Christmas, and she has either a husband she lost in a war or maybe a son. And what we're going to use is a picture of her holding a picture of me when I was in the Army years ago. And I don't know if this will work out well, but let me show you the setup. Let me turn this camera around. So what I'm going to have her do is sit there and look at this picture and maybe be holding a drink or something and just looking at the picture. Remember that when you're doing stock video, you've got to tell a story in about 15 seconds. And so what the story is that there's this lonely lady, and she's sitting here, and she's by the Christmas tree and the fire at night. Now I want to make sure that I don't show any of this art on the wall. You want to make sure that your models don't have any logos on their clothes. I got a camera here on a slider that has a pan and tilt head. This is the Zeppon slider Pons pan tilt head. And so I have it, and what I'll do is I'll have it pan from, I'll do one here where, and I won't have the lights. I've got the big light, a soft light up there. And that is, by the way, a very cheap light. And every time I use it, I think to myself, next time I get paid from Black Box, I'm going to buy some nice aperture lights. But I never do. I always spend it on stuff that I probably shouldn't spend it on, like more lenses or travel or whatever. But I really do need to get some good lights. But anyway, use the best lights you have. And I'm going to have her sitting here. The light won't show because it'll be a very tight shot. And I'll have it pan from the tree below that, so the television doesn't show and the fire shows, and it shows her looking at the picture or reading a book or just being alone on Christmas. And then I'll do some maybe with both of us together, pretending like we're either reading or watching TV or whatever. So the concept here is either senior lifestyle or widow, alone, holidays. Those are all the key words that I'm going to be using, and hopefully it'll work out. You got to make sure you have a model release, and you got to make sure you have a property release. And that of course is easy to do if your models are friends and family like they are in this case. Okay, I've edited these videos and I'm going to show them to you, but I got to tell you first of all that this is harder than I expected it to be. And what I'm talking about is psychologically. I filmed myself before doing things around the house, washing the car or painting or fixing something. And I filmed my wife knitting, sewing. She has a nail salon, so I've done commercials for her that showcase her work that she uses on social media. All of that is very natural, and it's been very natural for me. But in this case, we were acting. We were pretending to be widowed or divorced or alone or lonely or senior lifestyle. This was a planned, acted sequence, not just doing something natural. And when I looked at it, I became very self-critical. It was difficult to look at. So keep that in mind when you look at it. And when you do this, if you're actors, whether they be aspiring or just friends or professional actors, you're going to have to give them good direction. And if they don't feel comfortable doing something, you're going to have to deal with that too. Now, I'm just telling you, when I look at these, I just feel very vulnerable, very self-conscious, and it's hard to look at. But if we're going to learn and if we're going to grow from this experiment, then this is what we got to do, or at least this is what I think we need to do. Now, from the technical aspects, I think I need to get better lighting. So that's one thing that I feel like I need to work on. I've always bought cheap lighting, and I think that after a camera, the next thing you should get is a very good tripod, and the next thing after that is good lights. And so I need to follow that advice. I've heard that advice from everyone, I'm starting to see the problems with the lighting. Secondly, I used a motion slider pan tilt system. This was good, except that it was difficult for me to decide should I hold focus. What I did was I focused it on the I focused on the subject, and then I let the the slider slide out of focus, and I think that's okay, but it doesn't look deliberate, so I'm not sure if that was the right decision. And maybe I should have just put it on a tripod. I also didn't do far shots of the whole room. I didn't want to do those because I didn't want to take art off the wall. You either have to take all your art down, or you have to have releases for every bit of art that you have up. So I specifically made some choices that way, but in looking back on it, maybe I should have just done some different shots, some tight shots, maybe some close-up shots. I don't know. I welcome your feedback and your experiences. Please write those down below. Tell me what you think, and try not to be too critical of how we're acting. Okay, those are the clips that I used. Again, I don't think you need to do a lot. I don't think it's worth putting in 40, 50 clips. I think it's worth putting in 8 or 10 really good ones. So I've selected the best clips. I hope you like them too. Please consider subscribing. Do some video shoots with models. I think it will pay off for you. And think of a concept. Look up the concept before you do it. Think of a concept before you start filming. Hope this is helpful. Have a great day. Bye-bye.